Okay, time for Marcello. Marcello HP3 is in the house, baby. Disclaimer, that's medical marijuana. I'm just recovering after running training, intervals, 10 kilometers with 400 meters intervals, full speed, like full speed. My heart was 190 something. So that's my trick. I use the medical marijuana after I have a shower and like something to eat, chill out. I have my medical marijuana and my coffee. All right, let's talk about Marcello. So this is Marcello. It's a Marcello or Marcello HP3. It's a German-Italian collaboration. Sounds kind of worrying, but they did a lot of good with this one, no worries. It has a custom paint Flex Fitness, which is like a web of gyms and fitness centers in Germany. Because I'm not the owner of this bike, I've been privileged to use this bike for racing mostly, because it was actually built for crit racing and in racing in general. So it's, you know, it's not as comfortable as my Bianchi, where I can jump on it and go for 5-6 hour rides. This one is not. I mean, if you don't have any other bike, this is going to be the most comfortable for you anyway. It's on the heavier side. It's an 8 kilo bike, but it's a lot more aerodynamics. Everything is about the aerodynamics right now than my bike, and it's faster. It has a lot more gizmo than my Bianchi, which, let's start first. Gizmo we have is Shimano Ultegra Di2 system. It's freaking awesome. I mean, mechanical gears, don't get me wrong, they have this awesome feeling, you know, changing the gears, like you can't replicate that thing. But I think this is a lot more precise, a lot faster, and a lot less maintenance. You don't have to index these gears every time the cable stretch or something, or you, I don't know, change this or change that. It has an auto-tune thing. And the other thing which I like about I like a lot of things about this Di2 system, but a few things I want to point out is that you could change all gears. You can go from the lowest to the biggest, or from the biggest to the lowest with the one press of the button, and go the other side. While you're changing the gears from one side to the other on the rear cassette, the front delayer will adjust as well, so there is no chain rubbing on the thing, on this, you know, metal thing here. I don't know how you called it, on the derailleur. This is what I like. The cassette is 1132. Cassette is upgraded as well. It's a Dura-Ace cassette. It used to be a regular Dura-Ace cassette, and now it's titanium. And I was like, yeah, what's the difference? But then you feel that the moment you have both of them in your hand, you feel the difference. The titanium is a lot lighter, and I believe it's stronger. Yeah. Otherwise, why would they do it like that? It has a different gear ratio than Bianchi, so it's 52-38 front, and the rear cassette, like I said, is 1132. It has a lot better wheels. These wheels are 40 millimeters deep dish, aluminum. I think they're a little bit heavier than my ones, but a lot faster. Like one of the first things I noticed on these bikes, it's the wheels. You know, they are just a lot faster wheels. It's Ultegra on the rim brakes, so similar system to actually the same system as on my other bike. But I have to say, I don't know where is the magic. Maybe that's the wheels, but these Ultegra brakes have a lot more stopping power than my 105s. I mean, it's an upgraded system. It's one step higher than 105. But the first time I touched the brake, I locked the wheel. I was like, wow, these brakes are really, really strong. Even I did it once in the wet. Obviously, you know how it is. The rim brakes, they don't really work that good in the wet or at all. But even in the wet, it felt a lot better than my 105s. But I think this is due to the wheels. These wheels are The company, it's Leeze, Leeze. It's a German company as well. Pretty good ones as well. I look at online, yes, that's like very good wheels. Bike was designed for racing, mainly for crit racing, but it did a lot of regular road racing as well. Tires, another big difference. Like you could say whatever you want to say. This is 28 millimeter tires. I have 25 on my other bike. And I don't know if it's aerodynamics, how does that work? Because I'm not as smart. Because they are bigger, so you think they should be slower, but you can run a little bit lower pressure than on my ones, and because of that you feel a lot more comfort, and like I think you don't get tired as much as on the other smaller wheels. So yeah, it's like I remember the comfort difference is another level. So I like 28 millimeter tires. It's on right now TPU tubes as well, the super lights, just to keep the weight down. The pedals, these pedals don't have the power meters. My Bianchi has the Garmin Rally 200, and I'm just, you know, juggling in between these two bikes, because this is mainly now connected to my Tax Flux S Smart Trainer for indoor riding, and I use this bike mainly for racing. So it has a Dura-Ace SPD SL pedals, which I believe are super light as well. Everything is carbon, obviously, and the saddle, it has a terrible saddle. It's the Triton Oxygen. It's one of those saddles when, like, after an hour or two, your hydraulic system is completely numb, you know. Terrible saddle. So that's another thing. It's not even connected, but I mark with the green marker lines where it's supposed to be, because I'm juggling this saddles all the time. So it's a terrible saddle. Don't recommend this. The Physique, which I have on the other bike, is a lot better than this. But what I want to say about this bike, it just has a pretty big cockpit. I think it's a 44. It's a really big one. But the story is there was some issue with the original cockpit, which was the aero, and then it was like, you know, one of those stories that something was broken and like quickly, let's put this one, and the next month we're gonna change into the new one or fix this, and it just stays forever like this. So it is what it is. It's a big cockpit, but it's the same size as my Bianchi, which is a 56. But like I said, my Bianchi feels touch too small. This one feels touch too big. I think the top tube is longer. It's a different geometry of the frame as well. So where on my Bianchi, it's not that bad. I can, you know, play a little bit with the cockpit, with the steam and saddle and so on and so forth. Or this one, I feel a lot more stretch. But somebody told me that it's maybe even better, because the more stretch I am, I'm more closer to the Sphinx position, which it's my, I don't like, it's my fastest. I feel faster going in the Sphinx position than really on the drop bars. So it's a little bit longer at the drop bars. Not a big fan of these drop bars. They're pretty short. So I would say my Bianchi is at least inch or 2 or 3 centimeters longer than this. So when I'm on the drop bars, it's usually in a situation when I know I don't have to brake suddenly or change gears a lot. So then I don't like to hold the drop bars like this. I like to be more in a horizontal position. So when I grab my drop bars on Bianchi, I have like, the drop bars is still sticking out of my palm, and this one is like missing these 2 centimeters. It's a little bit too short, so they are not the most comfortable. What else to say about this bike? It's more aero. It's a little bit heavier because it's 8 kilo. I think this is due to the wheels, because everything else is carbon as well. And where this bike feels at home. So obviously it's a crit racing, road racing bike, so this is where it's going to feel the best. But when Bianchi is good in mountains, it's like a mountain goat, this one is opposite to it. Like climbing, I don't know, it's probably the geometry of the frame, but it feels like the balance of this bike is more in the rear. So on very steep climbs, which I do easy in the saddle on my Bianchi, the both wheels stays on the ground, where on this one, when I push a little bit more, I'm talking about really steep climbs, you feel like the front wheel, it's just about to go up and you're just about to do a wheelie, which never happens on my Bianchi. So it feels like the front is a lot lighter, so it kind of forces you to stay more in the front, but I'm not an expert. I'm non-pro, I'm an amateur, so maybe that's the way it should be. So yeah, the climbing, it's not bad. Once you get used to it, it's now, it's like when you have these old doors in your house, which they make this noise every time you open or close them. But once you learn how to use these doors, you know how to open and close them, not to make this noise. It's the same story here. Once you learn how to use this bike to do what you want to do, like, you can do it. The other thing which I've noticed, which I'm keep saying this, that I think because the balance is a little bit more on the back, like on high speeds, it doesn't give you the same confidence in the corners. It feels like, let's say, over 70, 75 kilometers per hour, especially on descents, the front doesn't feel solid. Not that it's soft or something, but I had this few times that the front starts to do this, I don't know, not really shaking, but it feels like it's not really glued to the ground. Even though I was trying to do on the descents different kind of trail braking, so I was dragging the front brake instead of the rear. I was dragging both of them, but focusing a little bit more on the front, to let the front tire bite a little bit more, to keep the balance in the front, because I thought the more weight in the front, it's gonna behave better. But not. There is something which I don't like in the front of this bike. I don't know if it's due to the fork, but I believe it's a cockpit. There is something wrong with this cockpit. Probably on the original one, which was here before, the more aero, and then smaller, it will behave different. So yeah, it doesn't feel super awesome in climbs and super awesome in descents. Where it feels at home is flat and rollings. Like, due to this position, probably because of the size and everything, it's a lot faster. It has a lot faster wheels. Maybe the tires, maybe that's the aero trick. It feels awesome in the rolling segments. It feels awesome in a group, in a peloton. It's really to keep the speed going is a lot easier. It's probably as well because the front big chainring is bigger, because it's a 52. I don't want to lie. I will check this now. Yeah, it's 52. 38, like I said, Shimano Ultegra, 11 speed. Yeah, I like that. I like for like a race, during the racing, I race on Bianchi as well, but like this one is better for racing. And when we do fast group rides, like really fast. So let's say we're trying to keep some segments, for me, fast. We do segment, I don't know, 10 kilometers long, and we're trying to stay closer to 60 kilometers per hour all the time. Like, it's easier on this one than on my one. On my one, I have to do the juggling with the gears all the time, and it takes longer to change these gears. This one, due to Di2, every time I'm on flat, no matter what's going on, I stay on the bigger ring and just change it's a lot faster. But like I said, it doesn't feel super awesome on climbs, and it doesn't give me the same confidence in fast corners or changing direction. It feels very solid as well. It feels like maybe because the bottom bracket is a lot wider than on my bike. Maybe because of that, it feels more like it's one piece instead of built from few pieces. It's not the newest bike, because I think this bike is pretty old. I think it's older than Bianchi. It's around 2010 or something like this. So it's a few years older, but like I said, it feels more solid, built from out of one piece. I think it has ceramic bearings as well. It's basically a racing machine. Obviously, there are a lot better bikes, but for now I just have this, and for me it's awesome. Like I said, it's mostly for racing or for my indoor trainer. What else I could say? It's the same bottle cages, the same brand as on Bianchi, but the colors, you know, it's all fashion. It's an Italian, German brand. So yeah, what I think I've said everything about this bike for now. So I'm gonna go back to my medical marijuana, chill out, and let me know what you think about this bike. Let me know what's your bike. Let me know in the comments down there. What setup are you running? Do you have like one bike for everyday riding? Do you have like an endurance for everything? Or do you have, as me, like one for racing, one for this, one for that? Yeah? Awesome. Marcello HP3.